Good morning. It's March 19th at 3 past the hour of 9, and we'll do our morning briefing. Again, the briefing isn't supposed to substitute what's happening nationally or state, but or the replication of the news, but just to try to bring it more direct to you in terms of how it affects things locally. As our update came in last night at 5 p.m., there are now 256 confirmed cases by county: Barnstable with 2, Berkshire with 17, Bristol with 5, Essex County with 14, Franklin County with 1, Hampden County with 2, Middlesex County with 100, Norfolk County 45, Suffolk 51, Worcester County 10, unknown counties 4. If you're interested in who gets it more than others, makes absolutely there's no relevance, but there's 119 females, 137 males. Exposure, by the Biogen conference attendees and household contacts, 97. Local transmission, 38. Travel-related cases, 26. And under investigation, 95 cases. Hospitalization, patients with that were hospitalized, 27. Patients that were not hospitalized, 151, and there's 78 cases under investigation. Couple things that are new, again, that affect things locally. I understand a number of people took advantage of the early shopping this morning at Market Basket. So here goes. Stores are open for 60 and older from 5:30 to 7 o'clock on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's at Market Basket. All customers are invited to shop Monday through Saturday, 7 to 9, and Sunday, 7 to 7. So they haven't cut back on their hours. Shaw's and Star Market in Clinton will open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 for seniors and others that might be at risk. Target is reducing their hours and closing the stores by 9 p.m. The first hour of shopping every Wednesday at 9 a.m. is reserved for elderly and those with underlying health concerns. JCPenney is closing all stores across the country. I will add the word temporarily until April 2nd. Home Depot is going to be closing at 6 p.m. every night so they can restock and deep clean the store. Commuter rail, all commuter rail lines will operate on reduced schedules, which can be found at mbta.com. On all lines, commuter rail schedules are being modified to support targeted periods of peak travel while providing options for off-peak travel throughout the day. As far as the registry of motor vehicles, there are 7 registry of motor vehicles that are open. They are Boston, Haymarket, Brockton, Fall River, Lawrence, Pittsfield, Plymouth, and Worcester. I understand in Worcester they had to close it yesterday. It got sort of out of control. And so these are the things that the state is trying to work through. I noticed rest areas are closed. That makes it difficult. We need trucks to move product right now. And a lot of these truck stops and rest areas are closing to the public. So you cannot use the bathroom facilities. That makes it difficult for the drivers. More and more of those restaurants are closed. More and more fast food locations are closing their restrooms. And that, again, makes it very difficult for those drivers and those that continue to need to transport goods and products in and around the state. So the Mass Turnpike rest area is open without seating and food areas. Route 128 rest areas, 495 rest areas open, but the bathrooms are not. Route 6 Cape Cod rest areas. Massachusetts Department of Transportation headquarters, 10 Park Plaza. All individuals coming in for a meeting must be escorted upstairs to offices by staffers. The following headquarters and regional offices will be closed for in-person services. Please visit each agency's website for more information on functions that can be completed online. All other Registry of Motor Vehicle Service Center locations, the Johnny Appleseed Plaza Visitor Center is closed. Offices that provide overweight trucking permits, these permits can be obtained via phone or internet. And the Easy Pass office. Note, all transactions can be done online. Many requests for those businesses. As you know, restaurants cannot have seating, indoor seating. So here are the list of restaurants that are participating. Some all are takeout, some will do delivery. I'll just name the location, and you can make that phone call if you'd like to find out more details about hours of operation and whether or not they have delivery. 435 Bar and Grill, Applebee's, Aroma Joe's, C&M Pizza, Central Cup, the Columbia Tavern, Comaquito, Christina's, the Daily Bagel, Domino's, El Chagaro, El Camino, the Gazba, Leominster, Lemongrass Vietnamese Restaurant, Moe's Southwest Grill, Munchies to Go, North End Diner, Paisanos, Papa John's, Papu's Pizza, Pasta Land, Ryan Time, Dandini Liquors, Seymour Ray's at Dandini Liquors, Shake and Dog, Slate Bar and Grill, Tang Dynasty, Taquero El Amigo, TC Lando's, Texas Roadhouse, Thai Jasmine, Tomatoes Pizza, Uno's Pizza, West End Diner. Those are the ones that we have listed here. There may be others. So if they're not on this list, please give them a buzz and see if maybe they're participating but didn't make it to the list. According to the department, the director of Innovation Center at Brigham Women's Hospital gives a couple tips, which I think are helpful in terms of what aggressive social distancing looks like. No play dates, parties, sleepovers, or families visiting each other's houses. Take walks and runs outside, but maintain that distance, ideally 6 feet between people outside your family. Reduce the frequency of going to stores, restaurants, coffee shops for the time being. If you're sick, stay home and contact a medical professional. I would say that at this particular point in time, the school lunch program is probably done for the day. However, there is a phone number that you can call, and if for some reason you're not able to make it to one of these locations, by all means, let us know, and we will make sure that you get the food, breakfast, and lunch that you need. 978-534-7500, extension 0. If you have any questions at all for City Hall, we are closed. All municipal buildings are closed. However, we are here to assist you to get anything that you need. If we have to deliver it to your house, the construction site. Yesterday, city employees were great. All day long, people had called. There were things they couldn't get off online. Some people didn't have access to online and internet. So all day long, I could see employees running out to the parking lot to bring things to people. And so that seems to work. Didn't hear any complaints about that system. If there's something from the library that you need, library is closed. However, there's over a dozen staff members at the library. Give them a call. On each municipal building is a list of phone numbers and extensions. So if there's something that you need, you've run out of reading material, whatever it might be, you call the public library and they will get it for you and meet you outside, sort of a drive-up service at this particular point. The buildings are closed and till further notice. If you have a business, and there are a number of questions about businesses and how you've been impacted and where do you go for help and assistance, you can go to 978-353-7600 or northcentralmass.com. If you'd like to ask us a question, we'll monitor this morning. If you have a particular question, I can watch as the questions come through on Facebook. So if you have a particular question, let me know, and I won't read your name, but I will read the question. Unemployment resources. Again, the unemployment office, which is an extension of Mass Hire, is inundated with phone calls. They did, I think, 17,000 in the month of February. They did 20,000 just on Monday. So you can see where this is going. So phone time, Do as much online as you can, but if you need to make that phone call, get your questions in order, write them down, and then once you get on with somebody, and it could take a while to get on with somebody, then by all means, be ready, because they have a long wait line, and they're trying to train other staff to assist and add phone lines. So again, the North Central Chamber of Commerce, northcentralmass.com. On that site they've been updating, I know, as they 30,000, Jeff Roberge says at Mass Hire, the statewide 30,000 unemployment claims. That was just yesterday. So the official gathering number is 10. So it got a little confusing. The governor was on during the day on Monday, said 25. The president came on later that day and said 10. The new number is 10. So the gathering is 10. Yes, 10. And so anyway, there is a number of resources that are there, and so many, I can't read them all to you. However, if you just go to that northcentralmass.com, there is tons of information there to help you out on small business loans, Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, CDC guidance for employers and businesses, rapid response program, etc. So please take advantage of that if you have a business. And they're always updating that as well. A number of, we have 3 pages of online forms that you can get at City Hall just by going to the city's website, leominster-ma.gov. The Leominster Public Library is here for you, and they're there to answer any questions 9 to 5. You could call 978-534-7522, extension 3 or 4 or 5. Teen Services are at extension 3606. Plus, watch social media. You can go to their website. But as I said, if there's something that you need, by all means, give them a call, and they'll get it for you and move it out to you. Seeing there are no other questions, we'll continue on. There are list of sites that are very helpful. So you want children to continue with their learning environment and their learning experiences. Teachers and staff work so hard to make sure, to get them to where they are, and we're only 3/4 away through the year, and just back from vacation, and another vacation coming up, and it's very difficult. The students need to have that consistent support. So they have been going above and beyond to try to get information out to everybody that they possibly can. Teachers are emailing, making videos, and I expect more of that. School department's doing a great job getting those lunches out. As I said, it's over now, but if you have any questions about how do you get one if you cannot get to one of the locations, which are Johnny Appleseed School Northwest, Francis Drake School, and I know I'm forgetting one, but I'll find that. I believe it's Fallbrook. Yes, Fallbrook, and the high school. So also they're going to Silverleaf apartment complex as well as Riverside. They go there around noon. But again, if you don't have access to it, please take the time to call us, and we will make sure that you get all of that information. We have tons and just massive amounts of information to share, and we try to sift through it so that we're giving you the experience that is local, because there's so many other news outlets. For the health department, if you have questions, 978-534-7500, extension 3559. You can get a food inspection there. The school department also has a hotline of 978-534-7700. Their extension is 1341, or you can go to their hotline at leominsterschools.org. Again, food distribution, bag, breakfast, and lunch. Leominster High School at the flagpole entrance, Francis Drake, Johnny Appleseed, and Fallbrook School. If people can't get the food, we will take their number, name and number, call our office at 978-534-7500. The Emergency Operations Center is in full force, and they are taking phone calls if people need to share information with them directly at 978-534-7500, 5055. Now, sometimes these these web addresses and this information gets overwhelming. Just call our office. It's sort of the catch-all for everything, 978-534-7500, extension 0. Shout out to the Leominster Schools, doing a fantastic job, and superintendent for the daily updates. And again, we applaud them. They're getting all of this out with Chartwell Food. They're getting all of these lunches. I think they did over 700, almost 800 yesterday. I expect that in the weeks and days to come, that will go up. We'll see an increase in the amount of lunches that are being prepared. So again, check the website, or you can call the school department number. Spanish American Center is closed. They are checking phone calls. Boys and Girls Club is closed. Mock childhood, child care is closed. And I think the other questions that we need to get answers for, and hopefully we'll have them to you by 4. So what happens if? So what happens if you're a server? You work in a restaurant facility, and you worked off tips. We're having a couple meetings today trying to set up a fund to help those who work in that kind of environment. What if you go to work, husband and wife, significant other, partner, are all working in the healthcare industry or public safety, and they need to get to work, and they have their children in daycare. And starting either Friday or Monday, the governor's ordered all child care facilities to be closed. Well, where do those children go? Who takes care of them? So a lot of the issues still now are centered around testing. Obviously, there's more and more testing kits coming available. And in Worcester yesterday, I believe they had the first site set up, or a test site. What the testing site means is, what it doesn't mean is for everybody to say, well, I'd like to get tested. That is not the case. They don't have enough tests to be able to administer to everybody. So those with symptoms will go to these areas. They will be, a physician will come out. They will go through a checklist with you. They, if needed, will take a swab if they feel the symptoms are in sync with the virus. They will send you home to self-quarantine, and then till they're able to spin back those results. So the point I'm trying to get is, when they do set up these sites, it is not so everybody. They're not set up for 1 million people to show up to get tested. So we're going to get you more information. Later yesterday, we are constantly on the phone. We're on conference calls. We are on webinars. We are on anything you can imagine. We were on with the governor yesterday with the mayors, followed by Health Alliance and dozens of other podcasts or updates. And we've gotten just streams of emails coming in from different agencies and businesses, and it's nonstop. And so we're trying to push out the information as fast as we can. Somebody told me I needed a better speechwriter. We don't have a speechwriter. We don't have a press person. This is us. We're doing the best we can. We are pushing out as much information as we can. Last night, inundated around 8, 9 o'clock, about somewhere around, I can't even tell you what time. It's all days, but a question about whether or not there were a number of rumors circulating through the city that certain either departments within the city or people at the hospital had tested positive for the virus. And so I posted last night that no, there are no cases that are known in Leominster, and we would know because the health department would be reported. So some people became upset because they said, well, that's a kind of a false message you're sending out. The question was, are there confirmed cases? The answer is no. Does that mean that somebody in this area can't have it? I think we all understand that just because there are no cases that are confirmed doesn't mean that people in this area don't have it. It doesn't mean you could go back to your favorite restaurant. It doesn't mean we go back to normal. What it means is we hunker down and we continue with all of the things that you've heard over and over and over again about safety and cleanliness and keeping yourself sanitized. I will say that the banks have now closed, and again, I question sometimes the decisions we're making because I don't know whether it's worse when you're managing the risk, whether it's worse to keep the banks open or to run these drive-ups. Now, I could tell you, I always have carried hand sanitizer. And when they send back that canister in the tube, I would suggest that after you handle that, because you can't go into a bank anymore, that after you handle that, that you make sure you sanitize your hands immediately and do so thoroughly, not just the old, I washed my hands in 2 seconds and I rinsed them. I would say make sure that you properly sanitize and that as soon as you can get to a hand sink, that you wash your hands. Again, those canisters on a good day, forget a virus day, must have cooties on them. And I'm no scientist, but I use them and I use them frequently, but I always carry hand sanitizer. And if banks and credit unions and people that are using these drive-up window facilities, I would strongly suggest, if you can get your hands on sanitizer, to include a thing of hand sanitizer, even if it's just a little small packlet that you insert one of those in the drive-up window tube or canister or whatever it is that they call them in their credit union or drive-up window facility. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, if you have any questions, you can just Facebook message us, cooties. Yes, Jen, cooties. That's what I call them, cooties. And I'm not talking about the virus. I'm just saying in general, those tubes that they use or drive-up windows or those areas, they carry a lot of germs. We need to be extra mindful and extra careful. Yes, that's correct. Canisters and pumps for fuel. That's why you need to carry this. If anybody knows, I know this morning that Market Basket, Aldi Foods, a number of places got a new shipment in, and they are beginning to limit those. Let's see, can the city workers or people that use the bank, the Leominster Municipal Credit Union, I'm not sure if what their rules are. I'll get an update on that at 9 o'clock. They're over at the May Gallagher building, and I'm not sure. They haven't notified us whether they're open or closed, and they don't have a drive-up window, so we will check that out for you. Yes, the post office is open. They are at full capacity, still delivering mail and packages, and the walk-up window is open. Yes, using gloves. If you can get your hands on gloves, nobody thinks you're weird because you're walking around with gloves or using gloves. That's everybody, I think, has gotten over that. But yes, that's another good idea. But you know, so a lot of supermarkets and pharmacies have been restocked. So get your hands on this, and I think it'll become more and more plentiful once people stop hoarding this stuff. It'll become more plentiful. Carry it with you. Put some in your pocket. Keep it in your car. And you know, even though just a couple of months ago they told us that we shouldn't keep washing our hands so much, and that you shouldn't keep using hand sanitizers because, well, there are a whole slew of reasons. That's not the case anymore. Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. What about these kids that have taken down the yellow tapes that are closing the parks? They are technically breaking the rules. Yes, they are, and we'll be back out there today, although weather's inclement. Tomorrow's supposed to be nicer, but our parks are open. And here's a list here of all of our parks. Go to Leominster-ma.gov. Go to the Recreation Department website. We have a list of all the property, all the trails that we have in Leominster. Keep your distance when out. And, there's plenty of land to keep your social distance there. And you'll see that we have, it's kind of interesting. People who have lived here for so long have never had the time to go out and actually walk our trails and visit many of our parks. And I would say many are visiting our parks for the first time and are pretty impressed. So, yes, you cannot use the playground equipment. Kids yesterday were down on Johnson Street playing. I know it was a nice day, and they're just trying to keep themselves busy. So we're trying to keep those groups separated. I understand kids were down at the deck hockey. Let's get a hockey game going. It's not a vacation. I understand. We spend so much time telling kids to stay off of video games, get out, enjoy the day, and then when you do, a little bit of a conflict, but it's for a good reason. Let's see. Have you heard of any mandatory shelter in place to be given in the next couple days, in the coming days? No, I've heard some communities. In fact, I don't know what state it was, but there was a certain village or a county. You know how they have these village townships, and I believe they had a high number of confirmed cases and those on watch, and so they went into a mandatory shelter in place. But the reality is, people will find a way around that to go to the next town. So unless it's statewide, and even then, if it's statewide, I think it would probably have to be something that the president would have to put out, because I think it would be really difficult to enforce. It does, even a shelter in place does allow you to get your food and get to fast food and get to the pharmacy and get to work and those kinds of things. But I think it was very clear yesterday that there is no appetite for that as we speak. But believe me, things are changing, and they're changing rapidly. There are truckloads, or I would say pallets of supplies coming into Massachusetts today and every day in terms of supplies. We need to protect those in the healthcare industry. We need to protect those in public safety. There are so many people that need to be protected. We need to get these supplies in, and we need to get them in here quick. Both police, fire, health, emergency management have been doing a great job watching out for their employees and as being safe as they possibly can. And there are a lot of unknowns for us as well, and that's why every day things change. Let's see. I don't understand this question. Yes. So the question was, are we still doing inspections at City Hall? Yes, we are. However, if we get to a location, or please let us know for the real estate agent or whoever it might be, the broker, please check. Don't call us to do an inspection if somebody inside the house is ill. Postpone it until the person is better. I know you want to do a closing on your house. I know you want to get your permits, but please don't expose anyone to the potential of getting this virus. So please, yes, we are still doing inspections. I'm telling you, city employees have been great, school department as well, about getting out there and doing everything possible that we can. If we have to deliver that item, if we have to meet you in the parking lot, and all day yesterday we went back and forth. Is it an ideal situation? No. I guess the ideal situation would be everybody just stays home and a drone drops your food, but that's not likely to happen. So 978-534-7500, extension 5055. That's the Emergency Operations Center. It was staffed yesterday from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. I thank all of those volunteers and staff there. They're doing a great job. They're answering a lot of questions. And believe me, we're getting questions that we just could never have anticipated. Doesn't mean we're not prepared for them. We just sort of stop and shake our head and say, I didn't think of that one. And so just be patient with us. We'll get you an answer as fast as we possibly can. And if you don't get an answer right away, again, we'll get back to you. MassGov is also a good website to visit. MassGov /job quest. AIS, the old Tucker building down there on Tucker Drive, still has some positions they're hiring for. And so you can give them a call. I wouldn't just show up, I would give them a call. Let's get back to if you're not feeling well. I'm sorry, every once in a while I just have to stop and scroll to see what can the city make available at least small hand sanitizers? You can find them anywhere. Oh, you can't find them. So yes, if we can get our hands on them, absolutely. I did get a very nice phone call from a gentleman that his company wanted to donate masks, and and he thought of his hometown, even though the company's not in town. And then it didn't work out because they ended up needing them for the company itself. It didn't realize it at first. But anyway, if you work for a company, if you know of where we can get hand sanitizers, believe me, we'll go, we'll get them, we'll distribute them, whatever it takes, because that's really what's going to combat this. and also taking the necessary precautions. So if you're not feeling well, what do I do? Okay, if I'm not feeling well, what do I do? I call my primary physician. I don't have a primary physician. They're not answering. I call urgent care centers. I call a healthcare agency. I call the hospital. I call somewhere where somebody's going to be able to tell me what to do from that point on. Do not just show up at a healthcare facility, an urgent care center, the doctor's office, a health clinic. Make sure you make that phone call. If you have to call for an ambulance, if you have to call the police, anything, please let them know. When the dispatcher is going to ask you a few questions, but be mindful. Let them know, I'm not feeling well. Here are my symptoms. They're going to ask you a few questions. Please cooperate. They're just trying to protect you, and they're trying to protect others, and so and protect themselves. So let me go over that one more time. Make a phone call. Not feeling well. Self-quarantine. Make that phone call to a healthcare provider or anywhere. Your insurance company. People are setting up phone banks all over the place. Make that phone call. Let them know what your symptoms are, and they will give you directions. And more testing kits are available. I had the data here in terms of how many were given yesterday in Leominster and then in Worcester. I'll see if I can find it as I go through my information here. But Jeff Roberge said there were 20-something thousand, did he say? 20-something thousand claims in one day at the Mass Hire Unemployment Agency. So you can see the extent of what's going on here. Let's go back one more here. It's like CNN here, going back here. One-person operation. Let's see what she said. I saw something from a healthcare person here, and now I can't find it. Let's see. Is the city going to help small business companies that have been in business in Leominster for 50 years? Yes, we are absolutely trying to get our arms wrapped around the different programs. Now, the federal government did pass for funding, so did the state, and we're trying to free up some money from some of our funding from Community Development Block Grant. We're trying to get word as to whether or not we can use those funds to help. But yes, we realize when you have over 20,000 claims in one day, and you had 19 or 20 on Monday, and yesterday was 20, I assume Tuesday was 20, when you have 60,000 claims in 3 days, I think that's pretty much, tells us that not only are people going to be struggling to get unemployment checks, but businesses are going to need help as well. And so we're trying to wrap our arms around that. As soon as we have an understanding of that, we will do, one of our briefings will be catered and centralized just to that particular subject. So we'll let you know as soon as we can on that part. Because, while we close businesses and we say, businesses have to close, we also have to have a plan for assisting them because some companies just won't come out of it. If this goes on too long and businesses don't get assistance, they won't come out of it. Now, one of the things that I continue to hear is businesses will say, I have loans already. I'm coming out of the recession, just getting back on our feet. We already have some loans that we pulled to survive, so we could survive through the recession. And the last thing that I need is another loan. Well, we understand that, and I understand it. As a business owner that during the recession kept our doors open, it was not easy. Had to borrow money, had to reach into my own funds my own emergency funds to keep the business alive, to keep people employed. But we finally made it through, and like all other businesses, you just get your head above water. Things are starting to go good, and then all of a sudden that happens. Yes, uncharted ground for everybody, and recommendations are changing daily. Yes, yes, yes. And, we have some really incredible resources here in the community. So I ask, if you work for a company that is producing products to help in this situation, let us know. We'll give you a big shout out. If you know of locations, retail locations where They do have toilet paper. A lot of people sat back and said, this is crazy, I'm not participating. Now they're running out. So any places that might have sanitizer, any places that might have just straight alcohol, any places and locations that might have other cleaning materials and sterilization materials, please let us know and share that. Let us know, we'll share that. And so, also, the emergency management number at the Emergency Operations Center is 978-534-7500, extension 5055, for all questions related to the COVID-19 virus. Okay, I think we're finally catching up. City Hall and all municipal buildings, once again, if you're just joining us, are closed. However, if you need something, let us know. We'll get it to you. Tons of things. We have such a menu of items that you can get online. Please go to the website, leominster-ma.gov. If you can't find it, don't have access to the internet, let us know, and we'll take care of that for you. Courts are not open unless there's some sort of an emergency, restraining orders, those sorts of things. But call the non-emergency number at the police department, and I know they have the information. We'll put it up as well, but they are closed. Most places are. And if you're just watching, my name's Dean Mazzarola, Mayor of the City of Leominster. Everyone is pulling together. People are helping, offering their assistance. You can call that emergency operation number. If you want to volunteer, we may not have found a place for you yet. Doesn't mean if we don't call you right back that we don't appreciate you and that we don't have something for you to do in the days, hours, and days ahead. Believe me, we'll need your help. The biggest thing is for us to all stay healthy and to heed to those cautions. I know people still have to work, I get that. However, there are still a number of precautions that you can take each and every day for you and your family. This is certainly not going away anytime soon. I know that China announced yesterday they had no new confirmed cases. That doesn't mean we wave the white flag and say this is all over with. Start the party, get back out there and enjoy life, and get back to your routine. That is not the case. Federal Credit Union at May Gallagher Building is open. So if you're a member there, they are open. Please share that on your own Facebook or social media if you can. And the pizza crawl continues because it is takeout, and people have been, it is a little bit of a distraction, but, people continue to go. We didn't cancel it because it's a takeout, and it just so happened that it came on this particular week. So if there are no other questions, I'm just going to check real quick. Bear with me. It is a kind of a messy day outside today. If you got hit with one of those snowflakes early this morning, one snowflake got you completely drenched. But it looks like it's turning to rain now, and first official day of spring is today, later on today to be official, and we know that the weather is going to get better. People are going to get anxious to be out. We have a list here of parks and open space in the city. There are a number, over 1,000 or 2,000 acres of land that is available for you to safely trail and climb and hike, and we want you to make use of that. Go to leominster-ma.gov and go to the Recreation Department. They have a map there, a list there, and keep your social distance. I wonder if what is this gonna look like 6 months, 8 months down the road? I tend to think we'll continue with that routine of social distancing. I guess the hugging is gone for a while. We all will be more mindful of our own health and care, and it's just going to change the way we live. Similar to TSA at the airports, I could never have envisioned when I went to Germany, when I saw their TSA standing there with machine guns, could never have envisioned anything like that. And here we are, it's everyday part of our life. You could run into the airport 10 minutes before the plane was taking off and still get on. And that doesn't happen anymore. And so certainly the world has changed, and this will, in fact, change how we live our lives. But yes, the credit union is open. Again, if you're going to go to one of these credit unions or anywhere where there's takeout or drive up, bring your hand sanitizer. Yes, cooties and germs on those canisters that they send back to you. And yesterday, down at the DCU Credit Union next to Aroma Joe's, a little bit of a traffic jam, but we'll work through that. We understand. And the staff was out there in the parking lot. They were doing a great job. Just have some patience. Go over to Aroma Joe's. Tell them I told you that I'd give you a deal on a coffee while you're waiting in line. They'll even bring it to you. So you can place your order and they'll run it over to you. Yes, a different world we live. Yep, so much, it's so true. So we'll be back here at 4 o'clock. Katrina Kucher will be here joining me and possibly other guests, and she's the city nurse. Again, hats off to everyone for cooperating, being so generous, helping each other out, volunteering. School department's doing a great job. All city workers, everyone's getting together and working real hard. One last thing that I will say, if there aren't any other questions, cooties. People like that, cooties. I don't know. People do not use that. Don't you remember when you were a kid and you write cootie protection on your hand and that meant you were free from cooties? It doesn't work that way. But let's see, use debit cards and credit cards and not cash if possible. Yes, good suggestion. See, all of these things are good and helpful. And it's, I guess we're going to need that constant reminder as we condition ourselves to the new temporary normal, is what I call it, and that will happen. I think we're just about out of time. We have a number of meetings today, a number of conference calls. We stay up with Health Alliance on their conference calls in the afternoon. We stay up to date with other Worcester County hospitals, the public safety worlds. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. We have been very liberal. My students make cootie catches. That's funny. That's a good one. I'd like one of those. We have been very liberal and lax about alarms. If you have an alarm in your business, if you have an alarm in your home, most communities, and technically under the city ordinance, we're supposed to charge and fine people after so many times that the alarms go off. We haven't done that. We've really tried not to. We try to be business friendly or consumer friendly, and we understand, you know, the kids came home and they forgot to take the alarm off and they ran into the garage and they went to grab the basketball and the alarm went off. But think of it this way. We have to take minimum of 2 cruises, sometimes more, dispatch them. They're coming oftentimes from 2 different sections of the city. They are racing to the alarm because we don't know if the alarm's for real or just a false alarm. So they're making their way to the alarm call. Oftentimes we don't get phone calls. And so that means they continue on, and we get there and find out it's a false alarm. Take extra precautions, extra precautions, especially now, to make sure you go through this with your family or your employees at work or the cleaning company at night. We are going to dozens and dozens and dozens of alarm calls that we don't need to. Now, there are times when there's a malfunction, but these are all human error. And this cuts down on public safety response times to other calls that are needed. And especially today, in these days to come, we're really going to need our public safety people to be responsive but safe, and we'll be responding in many cases to different kinds of calls that we've responded to in the past. But it's really important that if you have an alarm system, pull your family aside, go through the whole, ritual and the whole procedures on how to deactivate the alarm properly. If you're having problems with the alarm, call the alarm company. If you have employees in the building before, during, or after, please let them know where the panic alarms are. Please let them know how to reset the alarm, all of that. And also, please make sure that if you're a business, that police and fire have all your updated information. Oftentimes there's an alarm going off, get there, find out everything's fine. They call the last person that we had on the list that showed as being the responsible party. They're no longer there. We were never given an update on the person that's responsible. Therefore, the alarm goes off all night, and we're not able to reach anybody. So that happens to both police and fire. So please, those are the things that you can do to help us out. Okay, We will see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon with more information as it relates to you locally. Thank you to Carl and crew here at LTV, and also Sonny Levine down at WLPZ 95.1 FM. We have a low-powered radio station here in the city. You can hear it from pretty much the whole area, not just Leominster. They're also streaming online at WLPZ.org, and you just click on the streaming button, and they repeat this conference, press conference, and briefing all day long. So thank you. Have a good day, and be safe, be healthy.